Hi everyone. So once again, good evening. So welcome to All In's first ever study room with Gabriella Sally. So she's here right now. And for that, I'm going to explain a brief introduction about All In first. If you guys haven't heard of us, so All In is basically an independent university consultant that helps students from grade 7 to grade 12 to get into their dream university. By independent, it means that we don't represent any universities or any educational institutions, but we represent you, the students. That way, we can give our most objective advice as possible without any conflict of interest. And so far, we are grateful to say that 100% of our students have been accepted into 100% of their schools that they applied to. And of the schools they got accepted to, 75% of them are in the competitive and rich school tiers. And we do this through our admission mentoring program, which is an one-on-one mentoring with two different processes run in parallel, which are profile building and also university prep. However, that's not all. Getting into a good university is basically just a milestone in our life. What matters most is what comes after that, which is your career. We want to make sure that every single student is able to carve their pathway towards their dream career too. And that's why we are here to present you with some career exploration programs known as GX and PX. And for those of students who need help in academics, we have academics tutoring, test prep for SAD and ACD, and of course, the IB writing courses. So enough all in. So today we're going to have a study session together with Gabriella Sally, a content creator who's known to be accepted to 18 world's top university, including UPenn, Monash University, NYU, and Babson. And now, because she is here to study with us, and to face the final course, because it's probably like next week or for like 2 or 3 weeks from now, we're going to face the finals. Yeah, it's pretty nerve-wracking, but anyway, we need to study for it, right? So, hi Sally, can you explain to us what we're going to do and how we're going to do it?
So hi everyone, I'm Sally. Basically, I'm a student in Babson College and I'm planning at least to concentrate in technology, entrepreneurship, and design. And I also am a content creator on TikTok, and most of my content revolves around the topic of university tips and tricks, whether it's about applying or just university life in general. So I believe today we are going to study using the popular studying technique, which is called the Pomodoro technique. And I'm sure that most of you have heard of it by now. So it's basically a technique where you will study in full focus mode for 20 to 25 minutes and then take a break for 5 minutes and then go on to like full on focus study mode for another 20 to 25 minutes. And then we repeat. So for today's session, we are going to have 3 study sessions, and then between the breaks, we can go ahead and chit chat and talk about anything. If you have any questions, maybe about university admissions, tips and tricks, feel free to ask through the chat box to everyone, or you can message it directly to Carol. But yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, so we're going to start our first study sessions. And if you guys could turn your camera on, that would be really great because we would love to see your face and probably some stress on your face as well because we're studying. But anyway, yeah, please do turn your camera on. And for the first study sessions, we're going to, should we start now, Sally?
I'm trying to find the music on right now, but we can start now.
Okay, I'm going to start the timer as well. So we're going to end at around 5:35, I believe. Okay, so that was the first study session. Okay, how was it, guys? Okay, so we're going to take a break for 5 minutes and we are going to have a Q&A session with Sally. Do you guys have any questions for her? Probably like her journey throughout the mission process or anything like that? Feel free to chat it to us. Okay, probably I'll ask something first. So, Sally, like, why do you decided to like kayak gimana ya, admit to like 18 universities like at the same time? That's pretty, yeah, that's a lot for around 6 months or 8 months preparation for the admission process. Do you want to share with us?
I mean, personally, how do I put this? I honestly don't know what got into me at that time when I was applying. Like looking back, looking back right now, like applying to 21 is actually pretty ridiculous. Like most people don't apply to that many universities. So yeah, like it was just like really not me to do that. But then now that I like actually think of it, I think the biggest reason of why I applied to that many schools was because I applied to mostly universities in the United States. And then for universities in the United States, the application process happens through the common application instead of a regular application where you have to go through one by one. And then since all of them are already given to you right there and there, and I didn't have to do anything else, and I just need to submit like debatably some more essays. I just applied to a bunch more and then I got addicted to applying and then I eventually applied to 21 universities. I don't know how. But yeah, and I guess I just happened to got accepted to 18. So there's that.
Okay. So she got addicted to applying to more universities because how convenient it is. But like throughout the journey, do you face some like struggles when probably making the essays or trying to collect all your CV or like well profile building, all those kind of thing?
I would say that essays were actually the most stressful part about the application, especially when you realize that if you're applying to 21 schools, that means you have to write most universities, especially in the US, they ask for supplementary essays or like school specific essays. And those are, those are really, really annoying to write because most of them, I mean, like some schools are nice, you know, they have generic prompts, like sometimes they ask about like, oh, hey, like what's one extracurricular activity that you enjoy doing, or like what is or like why'd you pick your major, or like why'd you pick this college. But then sometimes there are just those universities that will make you write a prompt about something really abstract. Like this one university that I applied to asked me to write a whole essay, like a 500-word essay, I believe, on why I think a fictional character resembles my personality. Like and I had to like research different fictional characters that somewhat represent me well. And that was really, I guess it was fun. But then when you have to write 20 of those, it's not fun anymore, especially with such a tight deadline and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say it was stressful. But then I felt like in the end, when I was opening the decision letters. That was really, really fun. Like it felt like opening a bunch of presents, like unwrapping different gifts and stuff. It was really exciting.
Yeah, I agree. Because you got accepted. So those are presents.
Okay.
I hope everyone here who will apply to universities probably like will get those presents as well. Because yeah, all your hard works and your time, probably tears, will paid off. Okay, basically that's already 6 minutes, guys. That was pretty fast. We're going to start the next study session, which is the second one for also 25 minutes. Okay, I'm going to start now, yeah. session just ended. Okay, let's wait. Okay, we already have some questions here. So the first one from Ari. How do you decide which country to study abroad in?
So I personally, the reason or like my main decision factor is usually the program. So the reason I applied to so many universities in the United States at first was because United States was like one of the few countries of which like the universities offer more than just one major or like field of study, I guess you could say it, put it that way. And we also have this thing called a liberal arts college where you basically pick your major at the end of your sophomore year instead of picking it when you are applying. So as someone who's really indecisive like me, of course, I applied to a lot of universities in the United States. But I feel like eventually by the time you were between the time when you started researching and then up to the time when you're actually applying to the universities, I feel like for most people, like their decision on like which country to like study in, it changes a lot. So my suggestion would be you should probably apply to more than one countries if you can. And then later on, you can just pick from the offers that you received to see which one suits you best.
Okay, so it all depends on you and yeah, all the factors from majors and probably your time as well. So the second one, should we prepare should we prepare a specific essay for a different university?
So for the second question, I feel like it depends on the university. If you're applying to universities in the United States, most of them would ask for one main essay, like at least the one main essay, which is called the Common Application Statement. And then after that, some universities, they like to ask for what is called a supplemental or university specific essay. And for those, some of the prompts are actually similar between universities. So sometimes you can like reuse and like tweak the essays a little bit. So you don't necessarily have to prepare like a specific essay for a different university, like a different essay for a different university, but like just make sure. But like yeah, some universities have different supplemental essay prompts, so you do have to prepare a different essay. So again, at the end, it depends on what is the university you're applying to.
Okay, so make sure to read all the requirements if they ask for a supplemental essay or not. So the next one, what made you decide to go to Babson College?
So when you decide to go to Babson College, I feel like at first I was just simply researching about the college, and then I don't know, like honestly, to be honest with you, I felt like it was a vibe check. Like I just really vibe with the college. Yeah. So like at first, like I tried looking at the programs, and at that time I was somewhat sure that I'm planning to study business or entrepreneurship or maybe business administration. But then when I was reading through the Babson College website, and I found out that all first year students are basically required to study this one course. It's called Foundations of Management and Entrepreneurship, which is basically kind of like a course where they teach you how to make a business from scratch. And it's not just about making businesses, but it's also about like how to work within your team, how to work with people you don't know before, and stuff like that. So I feel like that course would be really helpful for me. And Babson has a lot of like institutional offerings available from the college, like study abroad programs and stuff like that. And I felt like out of all of the colleges that I've seen, Babson really stood out to me. And the like last deciding factor for me was that I managed to talk to several students, alumni and current students at Babson. And I don't know, like when I was just talking to them, they just made me feel like I could see myself as a student going to Babson. So I feel like what made most people, or like at least most people, my friends, decide what college they go to and if they're like happy and stuff at their college is if they can see themselves attending that school, then it's probably the right fit for you and you should probably go there instead of like going to another school just for their name and stuff like that.
Okay. So make sure to do a five check. I think I personally feel that that is probably kind of important because you're going to study there and yeah, live with people there. And also asking the alumni is one of the most important stuff because they are already experienced studying in that college that you're going to. Okay, next question before our last study session is what question do the interviewer ask for the most and how we properly answer the question if you went through interview?
There's usually this one question that I'm pretty sure almost every interviewer will ask you, and it's going to happen at the very end of every interview, which is, what other questions do you have for me? Like, yeah, like that kind of question. Yeah, and I feel like when you get asked that question, like the only way you can answer it wrong is if you gave a really easy question. Wait, if you don't have anything to ask them back. And then number two is if what do you call it? If you ask a question that you can easily find the answer to in Google, like one of those two. So I feel like as long as you did your research and you made it sound like you are interested in learning more about the college or whatever you're getting interviewed for, then I feel like should be fine. You know, like like interviews in general, they're meant to show like you as a person, how your personality is, and how they think you will be a good fit for the school or not. So yeah.
That's the question they will ask for sure. I'm sorry if it's pretty loud because it's raining in here. And we're going to start our last study section, but it's going to last for 20 minutes. After this, we're going to have a sharing session with Sally then. So yeah, I'm going to start the timer and we're going to also play the music again. So enjoy your last study section with us, guys.
By the way, the sun is up right now, so it's really pretty up here. Like,
Yes,
yeah, it was really when we started, so.
studying your first one? Okay, so we're going to start now. How do you basically improve your grades? Do you think, probably in your high school time? And if you guys have any more questions, yeah, feel free to leave it down below. Yeah.
Wait, did you say something earlier? I couldn't hear you with like all the music and stuff.
Yeah, you can. How about like how to improve your grades like throughout your high school and how to juggle your time as well? Because yeah, if you were a 12th grader, that means you're going to apply and also study for the finals, etc., etc.
So I personally had a lot of time struggling in high school. Um, okay, this is actually hard, but how I feel like I managed to do it is by having a sort of like timetable for me personally. Like I have a list of when I'm supposed to do my work and when they're due, so that when I'm like a couple days before the time, like the deadline of the task, then I know that I'm supposed to finish doing all of the task by then. And then yeah, so I personally had trouble because my school's curriculum was like A levels, and then I was not a really strong student in chemistry, so that was really hard for me at one point. But I was lucky enough to have like a lot of people to help like around me, like a lot of my friends to like help me learn how to ace the exams, I would say. And then I mean, if I'm not mistaken, like All In also has a academic tutoring program, I believe.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have.
so yeah. So um I really think like the most important thing about studying is that you have to really enjoy what you are learning. And I feel like the biggest way, like the easiest way to start enjoying what you're learning, for me personally, is if you're understanding what you are learning. So I feel like if you have no clue what you're studying, then you're just like clueless about it, right? And then, yeah, and then also, aside from the timetable, like doing your stuff beforehand, I also highly recommend like picking your activities, sort of like extracurriculars at the beginning of your, sorry, ninth grade. So that's like in Indonesian middle school, that last year of middle school
Yeah.
in Indonesia, right? So since then, because I feel like most universities, it's either they take their grades from grade 9 or grade 10. Since then, I feel like you should kind of filter out your activities. So it's really good if you know by then what career pathway you want to take, whether it's, let's say, like an artsy major or maybe some businessy major or like what do you call it? Or like a STEM major, or if you want to do engineering or stuff like that. If you're not sure, that's all right. Then you can do a lot of stuff. But if you already know what you're into, what you want to major in, it's highly recommended if you plan out your extracurricular activities around that major or like around a specific area or like anything that you're passionate at, but just like stick within that lane. So it kind of like tells the admissions officers or whoever will be reading your application later on that you are passionate at something. And I feel like most universities really like that, as opposed to if you have a lot of different activities in different sectors of like subjects and stuff like that. So yeah, like those are like the main stuff. And then yeah, and also for those activities, I would try to plan them in a way that like you won't be burned out by the end of the semester, because I'm personally also struggling with that. But I actually try to join a bunch of clubs here at Babson right now. And then last week was just like my toughest week because then I had to do a lot of stuff at the same time. And then I also had my midterms, so that was really tough. So yeah, try to plan out your activities so later at the end you will not be stressing out.
Okay, of course, burnout, academical burnout is a really common thing right now because we are chasing after all those like profile and for like certificates on your CV as well for your university. But please make sure to like keep an eye on your mental health as well because that is important. Okay, the next thing is like, do you actually think that by choosing those activities, it will eventually help us when we're applying for some scholarships? Or is there any like certain activities we need to choose when we want to apply for scholarships, or we can just take it all?
Yeah, no, so like I previously mentioned, so a lot of some people no, actually, like someone asked me if it's better to have activities where it's like you're or it's like focus on one topic or like subject, or like your activities are like scattered around like a bunch of different subjects, or like interests or passions or whatever you want to call it. I personally think that the better one is if your activities are centered around a specific purpose. For example, on my for my application, my portfolio ish was centered around like public speaking and activism and performing arts. Like it was like, so all of the activities that I did was like somewhere along those three, instead of having like 10 different activities that are like in 10 different categories with like little to no time commitment. Because I feel like what colleges want to see is that they want to have passionate students in their student body, and then they really like it whenever their students are passionate about one thing and they are shown to have like a really long period of time commitment. So for example, if you have been doing a specific activity since you started high school or maybe ninth grade, then they're going to really like that, because then it shows that you're committed to whatever you're doing. And it kind of gives them an idea of what kind of student you will be when you are in college. But when it comes to scholarships, I feel like for scholarships, there's two types of scholarships. Firstly, the first one is if the scholarships are given by the school, as in like merit scholarships or financial aid, stuff like that. And then the second one is if it's a third party scholarship, if it's like from an outside provider. I would say most of the time your activities list does not matter as much when you're applying for scholarships. But then there are always some cases where the scholarships are only given to a specific group of people. For example, student athletes, or let's say scholarships for people like scholarships for student who play basketball, or scholarships for student who did this in high school or that in high school. But most of the time, scholarships are open to a lot of people. So it doesn't really affect applying for scholarships, I think.
So regarding scholarships, I believe that research is really important, like for every single one of us, even not just for searching for scholarships, but also to search for certain universities that we want to apply to. Do you have any tips while we're searching, like for details of the universities we're going to apply to? Mhm.
Also, for the details of the universities, I feel like, oh, okay. So my number one tip is if you're researching for a university and you want to know if it's a good fit for you or not, try your best to not look at the rankings because I feel like if you've already if you've already started looking at the rankings, it's sorts of like how do you say it? Like you kind of get to like focus on the fact that like that college has a high ranking and you kind of ignore like all of the other factors. And also if you want to eventually like pay attention to the rankings, I would highly recommend going to Google and search up the major rankings instead of the university rankings. Because then again, when you're applying to college and you're studying a major, you are not just studying at the college as a whole, but you're also studying that specific major at the college. So let's say if I want to study business, then I should search up for like the best business schools in like a specific country or like top 100 business schools, something like that, you know? But then like, it's like, how do I say it? Like for example, let's just use my university or college as an example. Like I go to Babson and Babson is known as number one for entrepreneurship for 25 consecutive years. But the thing about Babson is we do not have any majors other than business because it's a business school. So if you're trying to study psychology, then do not go to Babson because that's not where you want to be, you know. So yeah, I feel like when it comes to researching, make sure that you're researching for the right things. That's first of all. And second of all is I highly recommend going out and like look for people who are attending that school or who are alumni of that school because they can tell you a lot about the school culture, the university culture, how everyone is like, and then yeah, like student life in general. And I feel like that was really helpful for me. It helped me a lot in like imagining if I could see myself attending the school or not. So yeah, that was really helpful. And then after that, um, oh, for universities in the United States, there's like this file. It's called the Common Data Set. It's like common data set. And basically, you search that up for specific universities in the United States. They tell you what factors the colleges in particular um, look at the most or like consider most important in the undergraduate applicants application. So that was really helpful for me for some time when it comes to applying. So for example, some universities, they don't really consider interviews, but they consider demonstrated interest. An interview was like somewhat part of demonstrated interest. So I still did the interview anyway and stuff like that.
Okay, so those are some interesting tips, I guess, because sometimes we really look at the ranks, or something like, oh, I want to go to Ivy Leagues, but we don't really focus on which major we're going to get into. So, yeah, I'm looking at majors. Whatever ranking is really important. I believe in every single country, not just in the United States, but in every single country, it is important. Okay, the next stuff would be, as you said before, that in the Common App and also in every single university in the USA, you're going to ask for the supplement essays, right? Like how should we like practice writings from for like ninth grader or something? Do you have any practice writing routines to make your essays look even better or impressive?
Oh, okay. So I actually learned about this recently in my writing class at Babson. So the biggest takeaway that I got from that class would be that um, if you're writing, especially if you're writing for a college application, the easiest way to write is to not care about anything and just do it. Like, do not even go to planning, do not even think about what you're doing. Set a timer for like 15, 20 minutes and just type, like, open a Google Doc or like a Word document. Just type in whatever like you think you want to write. And the only one rule to that is you cannot stop typing or writing. And then once the timer ends, you can go back and then you can set another timer and you can like add some stuff and then like basically go through it over and over and over and over until you're somewhat satisfied. And then that's when you get your first draft, you know. And then after that, you I would highly recommend getting someone to read it and like tell you what they think about it. And then maybe you can make changes on your piece of writing. But then also aside from like that, like writing method technique, I would also recommend, what would you call it? Like I would highly recommend reading a lot. And when I read, like reading a lot of like similar stuff or format to what you want to write. So in this case, if you're interested, if you're planning to write college essays, then I would highly recommend going through like college essays that got them accepted to like certain universities. There's lots of them online. And I feel like when you go through them, there's usually like a specific pattern that all of those essays have. And I feel like once you can like understand what the pattern is, I feel like if you can incorporate that into your essay when you're applying to colleges, that would be really good. And yeah, like overall, I feel like writing is just like especially writing personal or like supplemental essays. It's all about like the wording and like how you put yourself in a way where, yeah.
But of course, it requires time to like learn how to write, and sometimes we don't love to read, but yeah, there's a lot of ways to make yourself write and read at the same time. Probably, do you have some closing statement or some encouragement for us, because we're going to end the session at 6:55 here, like for the students here who's going to have their finals and of course applying for the university.
Um, oh, okay. Good luck. I know it's like really, really annoying right now. It's like really hard and I know it's really stressful. And I just know that like in the end, it's all gonna be worth it. So just hang in there for a little bit longer. And in the end, once you've seen like the result of your hard work, you're gonna hopefully be really satisfied by it. It's all gonna be worth it in the end. So just hang in there for a little bit longer.
Hey, thank you so much. And I would love to say thank you for every single one of you who have participated on our first ever study sessions with Sally. And of course, we hope that you guys get accepted into your dream university as well. And for tomorrow studying, I hope we also help you guys for studying for your finals. And we are hoping for the best for your finals as well. And for your information, oh, once again, I would want to say thank you to Sally for spending your time with us, because yeah, we're probably busy with your finals in the future and also your project. But also here we're having some upcoming events, because we're going to have a study room schedule here. We are going to have a study room at our Instagram live. You guys could definitely check it out. And we're going to have it from November 15 to November 27. And of course, we're going to have tutors that is qualified for it. You guys can see from chemistry, pure math, physics, chemistry again, math and bio. They are qualified and with a really splendid scores for their A levels and IB scores. So make sure to check them out and tune in for the live starting next Monday. And another upcoming event for All In is the Think Tank Battle 2021, which is an investment analysis challenge that we're going to have on 16 until 18 December 2021. And you guys could definitely sign up as an individual or a group of two, and of course, win the prize and get all the experience you want and dive more into analysis and, of course, investment. Yes, you guys can definitely check this link out or just directly go to our Instagram. And once again, we would love to say thank you so much for joining us. And is there any feedback form after this? I think we should have feedback forms. And yeah, contact us. And we would love to say see you around and have a nice night, everyone. Thank you. You want to leave the room? It's totally fine. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a nice day.